Hey NutriFam, welcome back to my channel. So what I'm going to do today is a Q&A session with some of the questions you guys have posted on Instagram, and I thought it would be a great idea to do it along with a cooking demo. I'm going to do a really simple butternut squash roast, and I'm also going to do a roasted side dish of tomatoes and onions. They both go in the oven, super simple. You can have it as a snack or a lunch, and it's a great idea to have it available in your fridge throughout the week so you don't eat unhealthy. So the first one is the butternut squash, which is diced right here. Super simple, just put it in to the baking dish. I'm gonna just add salt, pepper, and olive oil, and also I'm gonna put some thyme. So while I'm doing this, I'm gonna look at the first question. I think I have a hormone imbalance. How can I know for sure? So that's a really good question. It's pretty broad, but at the same time, I think it really applies to all of us. So the first thing you want to do is look for symptoms of hormone imbalance. Of course, one of the biggest symptoms of hormone imbalance is irregular periods. So if you have irregular periods, as in every month, you're not having it at exactly 28 days or even 30 days, 35 days, maybe one time it's 60 days, one time it's 90 days, what have you, then that's a really big indicator that you have a hormonal imbalance. Another thing is bleeding between your periods, so that might be indicative of a hormonal imbalance. For some people, even getting so hungry that you feel like you're gonna faint, and just having terrible symptoms during your period, like if you're out of commission for those 2 or 3 days during your period, that's a good indicator that maybe you should talk to your doctor about possible hormone imbalance. It doesn't mean that you absolutely have it, but you might, okay? So what I did here, I did some olive oil, salt, and pepper, and I'm also gonna add thyme, and it's optional if you wanna do that. So I'm doing thyme, and I'm just gonna mix it all together, put it in the oven, 400 degrees for about 30 minutes, and you can have it immediately or just keep it on hand for the week. Okay, so second question. What options do I have for testing or consulting? Okay, this is a pretty complicated one. So for those of you that, first let me say it's really important to go to your yearly physical, just with your primary care physician, because a lot of times the most simple things like checking for your cholesterol levels or checking for your blood sugar levels can actually help a lot more than we would think, okay? The second thing is, I'm a really big fan of naturopaths. I see one myself, so if you're at a place where you live in a city where there's a naturopath, specifically one for women's health, I would highly recommend that. But the next thing is, if you don't have those two options, you can also just go to your OBGYN, have a really frank discussion with him or her, and you can ask them to test your estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, DHEA, and also cortisol. So I think if you just do your physical, because they check for cholesterol, sugar, thyroid in the physical, the yearly physical, and you check for those hormones, then you should be in good shape. So this is actually ready to go into the oven. I mixed it all up with my glove. I'm gonna remove it. The next thing I'm gonna do is just roasted baby tomatoes with roasted onions. Literally just dump it in, olive oil, salt, and pepper, and with this one I'm gonna do parsley, and I'm gonna cook it about 400 degrees for maybe 25 minutes for this one. So the next question is, what should be my approach to balancing my hormones? And I'm actually gonna answer these two together. The next one is, how long does it take to naturally balance my hormones? So first, what you should do is definitely make some lifestyle changes. So once you do get that diagnosis and have that discussion with your doctor, it's really important to kind of talk about, okay, what am I expecting to get out of this, right? What are the changes I'm willing to make? So whether that's diet, supplements, exercise, some kind of stress management. I do meditation. You can do anything from yoga to even just having a good circle of friends that you see every once in a while. And how long does it take for me to naturally balance my hormones? So let's say you've made these diet and lifestyle changes, you've completely changed up your diet, you're limiting your alcohol intake, you're not really eating any of those inflammatory foods. I would say, first of all, I have to say that this is a lifetime commitment, so it's not like it ever ends, it's not like you ever arrive, I'm still actively doing all I can to make sure my hormones remain balanced. But I would say it's possible that you'll start seeing results at about 3 to 6 months, and it's really important that once you do start seeing results, you continue. What are common signs of a hormonal imbalance? Okay, well, we already talked about the missed period. So the missed period and the irregular periods and bleeding in between, or bleeding way more, like instead of, for example, some people can bleed for 10 to 15 days nonstop. So those are very clear signs. But some less obvious signs are things like, you can think of your period kind of like your report card. Laura Brydon says this in her book. I really like this line. If you're having a terrible period to the point where you just can't even function and you need to stay home because of it, that's probably a good idea to go check it out with your physician and maybe talk about whether or not your hormones are imbalanced. Obviously, if you're having a hard time getting pregnant and you've been trying, not immediately, because nobody gets pregnant like well, some people do, but it's rare to get pregnant immediately. But if you've been trying up to a year, that may be a good idea to go get your hormones checked out. So that's about it for the questions. I'm gonna give this a really quick mix, and I'm gonna put both of them in the oven. And once they're ready, we're just gonna have it available for now and also throughout the week, so that instead of grabbing something that's not on the hormone friendly list, you can have a little bit of these. Hope that was helpful.